Not much can strike terror in a mom's heart than losing control of her child. But there we were, watching a man in a green frog suit wrap our 5-month-old daughter in a blanket and putting her in a duffel bag, and then handing her off to an orange frog man dangling from a line dropping down from a giant helicopter. As I watched her rise, the green frog man came to get my screaming 2-year-old. He literally peeled her off of me. He was able to wade through the rising floodwater that used to be our backyard. She stopped screaming and just clung to the rubber-suited man. Finally, the green man came back for our just-turned 5-year-old son. His eyes were huge as he clung to his dad, and then up he went. Finally, it was my turn. The orange-suited man reminded me not to help him, just let him put me in the chopper. When I landed on the deck, the first thing I saw was a very young sailor holding all my babies. Michael under one of his arms, protecting his ears, Tessa under his other arm, protecting hers, and baby Leah sucking on his pinky finger while he wrapped his hand around her little head, protecting her ears. I was looking into the eyes of an angel, protecting my babies. The helicopter landed in the church parking lot on the hill above our farm and let us out to where we'd parked our car. We went off to our friend's house to hunker down with them and their 2 babies for the duration. Neighbors, where would we be without them? The next days were spent picking up the pieces of our farm scattered through the yard and the pasture. Next door at Kitty and Wally's, we cleaned the first floor of their house, where Wally had housed their quarter horses and my gelding that had pastured with them. To save their mares, they called my Cap, who really thought he was a lap dog. He came running to their house and called his girlfriends, who followed happily, all 4 of them, into their living room and made a mess of their home. On damp days, it still has a hint of horse in the air. But we hauled their furniture, their sheetrock, and the piles of poop off to the edge of the river and threw it in. Lots of bleach and elbow grease later, it was looking a bit better. Next to their house, Leonard and Virginia did not fare so well. They had a fireplace with a cement foundation at the back of their house, and the moving floodwater swirled around it and made a giant hole that dropped their house into it. Fortunately, the neighbors had banded together the day before and took as much out of their home as we were able to store it in their outbuildings. We were able to preserve most of their life. The river decided to change course then and build a new channel between our barn and our house. The Army Corps of Engineers saved the day and our farm by dumping rocks and dirt to put the river back in its original banks. On the corner, we found our truck in a hole, left by a swirl around the now lost willow tree. We had bought our truck with our Peace Corps money and had filled it with orange flower decals. Watching our neighbors watch us move in with a flowered truck and a baby in a backpack was quite a sight. It was the era of the hippies, and we were them. We cemented our place in our community during that flood. Our dream was to raise our kids in the country, raise and harvest our vegetables and fruit, and raise our animals. We were living our dream, and now it was time to rebuild. My husband decided to buy a tractor and rebuild it rather than hiring others to do our replanting and regrading. We sold our farm in 1989, much to the sadness of our children. We drive past our farm sometimes, shedding a few tears over the fact that its new owner burned down the barn to land his planes. Lives go on and people change, but life on the farm was the foundation of who we all became.